Hello, everyone. It's SKFC back here with another video, and we just finished watching the match between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, which has ended in a 1-1 draw. Both teams were in kind of a necessary situation where they needed to win the game. I mean, I guess in a sense, all teams always need to win every game, so it's a bit redundant in that sense. And with that result being the way it is, Bayern are now 7 points clear at the top of the table. Eintracht Frankfurt have a chance to make that 4 points if they are able to win against Heidenheim tomorrow. I think it's a bit interesting because Bayern would be the obvious favorites, seeing as how they have not lost a game this season. However, another thing to also keep in mind is that up until today's game, Dortmund were completely perfect at home, going 6-0 in all home games. Their issue this season has mostly been away. They have not won a single away game yet this season, and it's been relegation for them away. So it was a bit interesting to see how this game is going to go for them in that sense, because you could feel a sense of an immovable object versus an irresistible force, because obviously something was going to have to give. And kind of just going through how the game went, as you can again see through the momentum, it was a bit dull, especially in the first half. Dortmund, they kind of got a goal against the run of play, and they were really satisfied with just trying to sit on that lead. And to be fair to them, they were pretty defensively resolute. Especially when you look at the first half stats compared to the second half stats, if should be able to find it. Sorry, in the first half, Bayern were only able to generate 0.25 xg, so they weren't really troubling Dortmund that much. Whereas in the second half, you could obviously tell that Bayern kind of were more penetrative with their offense. They were actually generating more chances, generating better opportunity of chances. And I think that, kind of where to start in that regard would be to kind of look at some of the important Bayern players, Musiala being one, obviously, as the goal getter, was also instrumental in creating chances, having an expected assist of 0.26. And this guy, Olise, coming on in only 10 minutes, having the most expected assists out of every player in the match in only 10 minutes, kind of shows just how important he is to this team. And it was a bit of a surprise when he didn't start this game. Kane had to go off injured in about 33 minutes. He wasn't really that influential. In all honesty, he didn't really have that many touches on the ball. I'm not even sure if he got off a single shot. He didn't have a single shot in the game. So Dortmund were doing a really good job of really limiting Bayern while he was on the field. Tell, I thought, was a bit disappointing in this game. I know people were also surprised when he started as well, and I don't really think he unfortunately did enough to justify his start. You could tell that Davies was trying to do a lot when it comes to overlapping with him, but it just wasn't coming off that well. Limer, I'm not gonna lie, he was okay offensively. He had one really good opportunity when he had made an inverted run towards the middle, and he passed the ball to Sane, and Sane had one of the worst shots I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. He could not trouble the goalkeeper at all, so he should be ashamed of himself, to be honest. But outside of that, I'm not going to lie to you. I think Limer was getting skinned by Gittins. Obviously, he got skinned for the goal. Gittins did a really, really nice dummy towards the pass and pretty much just made his way down the byline and shot at a really tough angle to beat Manuel Neuer. Where even outside of that, Gittins was just kind of having his way with him throughout the entire match. And I do think bringing in Bowie was kind of another important substitution in that sense. Goretzka, I thought he was mid. Kimenu Bukano, I mean, I thought they were okay. They did have a couple moments, and I do think the ref was letting them get away with a few rough fouls. Obviously, just given the aggressiveness of company's system, there are always going to be shaky moments just based off of that alone. I mean, there was one opportunity that I think Dortmund had where Sabitzer made a really nice run in between, what's it called? The two center backs. And I remember I was so annoyed. I even went out of my way to point it out in one of my tweets. So again, it's always the little things that you have to kind of look out for, and it's always really easy to nitpick, certain defensive situations like that. So, it was just kind of one of those things where Bayern at times looked vulnerable, but for the most part, they were kind of well in control. Yeah, I do think overall, this game was pretty interesting. The basic story of it was just that Dortmund were really up against it defensively, and I think ultimately they just invited too much pressure onto themselves without any proper response after they scored, and I think that pressure eventually just mounts on them, and you kind of see that in the expected goals and just kind of how it just kept climbing up, especially after the second half. You see that huge jump, and Dortmund were already conceding possession as is, as you can see by the possession side over here as well as the field tilt. So I think the house was always kind of destined to burst in a sense. But overall, though, I think kind of where this leaves both teams for the season, I think Vincent Company has kind of done a better job than people are willing to give him credit for, in terms of kind of his Bundesliga campaign. And even overall, I think Bayern technically only lost 2 games all season in about 17 matches. So I don't think people are giving him enough credit for that. And I also believe that this is the first game Bayern have conceded in about 7 matches. So he's really done a good job of kind of mitigating their defensive issues that they showed earlier in the season. And as you can see here, only 8 goals conceded in 12 Bundesliga matches. So I would say they're still looking like strong favorites for the league title without any real opposition from the other teams, just because they've just been too inconsistent. And then for Dortmund, they really need to clean up this away record. Just no wins in 5 away matches is kind of unacceptable, whether you're a team that should be challenging for the league or a team that is just looking to finish top 4 regardless. So I would say that's what they need to work on. It'll be interesting to see what they do for the rest of the season. So this is going to be my video for today. Thank you for stopping by. If you made it this far, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Please give a like on the video and comment down below what you think. And most importantly, remember to have a good day.